Friday night, 8 o'clock, UPTV, Channel 6. The stimulus package has hit Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, because we have a full set tonight, and everybody's dressed appropriately. No singlets, no headgear.
We got the highest paid defensive lineman in the house tonight.
That's right.
Albert Hainsworth, how you doing, buddy?
How you doing over there, Albert?
Oh, he
right,
over there
take this
conducting
call.
business. All right.
Take this call. Oh, all right.
Was it your agent?
Yes, it was.
What was it?
Finalizing the deal. I mean,
Finalizing the deal.
all of the I's dotted and T's
That's why I
crossed.
look preppy.
That's your money. That's your money vest
$100 million.
100 million.
And for $100 million,
for 12 games a year.
Wait a minute. And for $100 million, all he could get was a FUBU sweater vest.
That's all you need right now. You don't need to shine like that.
Man, let me tell
We
you.
have an
What was he
after
supposed to get?
Hey,
Polos?
look.
Ralph Lauren?
We're gonna have an after party. That's where everything. Drinks on the house.
Is that how it work?
Yes. Alexander's closing the bar, closing the place down. My party.
Why we even doing this show?
Right.
Just you know, it's set up. You know, getting everybody up out of there.
So we talk about it right here, and then everybody come on
Meet
out.
us there.
Meet us there. Well, come meet us at Alexander's at what, about 9:30? Mm-hmm. Big Bun is shutting down Alexander's.
Albert.
Oh, Albert.
Yes.
Mr. Hainsworth.
Yes, sir.
I apologize. Well, Mr. Hainsworth,
Yes, sir.
first of all, welcome to Tell Like It
Hey,
Is.
I heard about your show.
During these economic times, how do you feel about accepting a $100 million contract? You know, the
Hey.
common folk are losing their houses, and
Hey, I need
you
to
know,
be paid
You need,
for my services.
I'm glad you're the kind of guy that wouldn't be considered selfish.
Right.
all right.
I'm like Leon.
So
Hey,
I mean,
you know.
hey, just get ready to hear that question from here on out. How,
Right.
How can you accept that money?
Oh, and you know that
Easily.
question's gonna be coming.
Accepted monthly, bi-weekly.
In $100 bill.
No, in a form of a check.
Here you go. My check clear.
Right.
Thank you. Click.
Do
Hang it
I,
up.
do I need to go answer the phone?
Well, I was gonna say one of the things. Stat Girl's not here tonight. She's a little
Hold on.
under the weather, as you can hear. I'm a little nasally, little congestion.
Hold on. See, the average mind. See, when you just said that, my man got the clicking right.
Uh-huh.
Stat girl sick. As you can see, I'm nasally. What y'all been snuggling up together or something? I mean,
Oh no. Now see, there you
I'm
go.
just saying, man. You the ones. You worded it like that.
Talk
man.
about rumors. How the rumors get started
Oh,
about
there you
jealous
go.
people.
There you go. This is a TMZ.
You said it.
That's Chris Brown. He been following Chris Brown, and now he following me.
Hey, man.
This is the TMZ photographer.
I'm gonna go answer the phone.
You gonna go answer the phone?
I don't know what to do when I answer. But...
Just say hello. That's what you normally do. How to transfer and all that?
Right.
I couldn't
See, that's
tell
what I'm
you.
saying.
But yeah, Stat Girl's not here tonight, so if you called in 328-8280, be a little patient with us. We'll figure out the phone system so we can get you on the air. But last night, to start everything off, Fighting Illini basketball kicked off with a game at the Assembly Hall against the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Tell it like it is.
Now, check out, wait a minute. Albert Hainsworth, a $100 million man,
He answering phones.
answering phones.
He disconnected them.
You just hang
Try
up
it
on him?
again.
What was your cousin? What was it?
Y'all know. Tell him, call back. I didn't know it's not
Give him a call back, 328-8280. Albert will be taking your calls for the rest of the evening, but I'm going to sit here with Big Wayne. Last night, Minnesota Golden Gophers came into town. Now, before we even talk about that, you ever look at the mascot and look at Tubby Smith?
Tubby, the Gopher. Who created who? Because they look alike.
I was the chicken and the egg.
Did Tubby spit him out, or did the Gopher spit Tubby out?
Because have you ever looked at Tubby's son?
Yeah. Which one? Saul?
Saul, with the waffle daffle pippy do.
Right.
Does he not?
High tech.
hey, that's what I call improvising on the job.
Look at you.
He multitasking.
He sure is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Hey, you sure is worth that $100 million.
you sure are. Go on, boy.
Hey, now
Yeah,
they call back now. I tried.
Now, you tell you what, you answer that phone and work it out, and that call pop up on the air, $2 million bonus right there.
Please call back.
Look, now,
My kids need some new shoes.
imagine how many pair of shoes you get with $2 million.
Not that many pair.
Yeah,
Wow, he sound like Spreewell now.
kids got to eat.
My kids gotta eat now.
Put them on that boat you got. Sell some of them rims
Right.
and all that. But back to Illinois basketball, like I said last night, 52-41. Minnesota Golden Gophers came into town, and Illinois had to get a little revenge back because the last time we went up to the barn, I think Illinois scored
36 points.
36 points.
36, 39, something.
He know.
36
Hey, he know everything.
I was gonna say they scored less than a blind man at a singles bar. They wasn't hitting on nothing. But last night,
You talking about like the guy to go to the bar got the bad breath hitting on everybody?
hey, his hair's a little longer.
Right.
Everybody, hey, girl.
He got funk breath.
Right. What can I get you?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nevertheless, Illinois won last night.
52-41. Now,
I'm trying to hear that, man.
I'm going to ask you about this, Wayne. I'm going to come right to you.
What?
It was 52-41, but at the 10-minute mark of that game last night, Minnesota had 39 points. 10 minutes left in the game.
They scored 2 more
And
points.
they scored 2 more points. Illinois'
A certain
defense,
person tried to blame it on shooting this and that or whatever. Well, nobody gave Illinois sympathy when they scored 33 points last week,
right?
or a couple weeks ago. It was defense, man. Coupled with bad shooting. They missed some open shots. But a lot of them shots they took was contested. A lot of Illinois shots were contested too, but they made a little bit more.
Bun, Illinois locked down.
Yeah, if you call that. Just
I mean,
bad. No outside
Good
shooting.
defense can cause bad
Yeah,
shooting.
good defense. Alec, Minnesota had a whole lot of open look on the threes, and
Go ahead.
they wasn't hitting them.
Okay.
But they
Go
was
ahead.
killing them in the paint and on the boards.
Okay.
But like I told all the Kool-Aid drinkers today, I said if Minnesota could have hit a few of them outside three, they'd have ran you out the
If
they'd have ran you
Illinois
out the
would have scored
seminar.
40 points against Penn State, they would have
Let
won.
me answer this call.
If.
And if ifs were fifths, we'd all be drunk.
What happened last night is nothing new with Illinois' defense.
Right.
They've shut down numerous of teams.
Okay.
Right.
They're giving up the least points in the Big Ten. So, what you saw last night was just good defense coupled up with bad shooting.
Now, you talked about rebounding. Minnesota had 2 more rebounds than they had points. 43 rebounds. They had 41 points. They was playing with themselves, but it wasn't fun.
Right.
What gives there? I give it to you that bad shooting, but when you get 43 rebounds, I think Illinois only had 20 or 29 rebounds.
Hey, that means
that
Minnesota cleaning the boards.
Yeah, they were cleaning the board, but
And they're blocking shots.
getting that ball back in the bucket.
I think Trent Meacham got Sampson and Johnson tattooed on his forehead right now.
Yeah, he did take, even Mike Davis on a 4-1 fast break. I think Johnson introduced himself to Mike Davis last night. But
Do you
even with all
score
that
points by
said,
blocking shots or putting the ball in the hole?
put it in the hole.
Thank you.
Put it in the hole. But the reason why I go to 43 rebound. Now, Albert, that phone is ringing.
Sure is.
And you answer.
Tell it like it is. They hanging up. Somebody playing on the phone. I got call ID. Whoever it is, I got call ID. I know your number. Now don't play.
Well, call them out then.
And we're here at the city building, so after we get the number, we're going to
Call
walk
'em
over
back.
here to the police department, and we're going to run a trace on it.
You're right.
And then you're going to see the 3 amigos ride up in a squad car.
Who's sitting in the back? Because I ain't taking that ride.
We let you drive.
Right.
You think they'll let us have one of the cars?
Yeah, I go to talk to
Well, I
the
like
captain.
Cobb, see what he do.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think,
I think they might have to get the war wagon for us.
right, because I'm telling you, that back seat,
We riding the fire truck.
I don't want to do that.
Why? Sneak up on them. You're like, hey, house
How you
fire.
gonna sneak up on somebody in a fire truck?
Easily. They ain't thinking like that. They ain't thinking outside the bun.
Oh, so they ain't thinking that way?
They don't fire truck.
truck just
There's a
pull up.
fire somewhere.
Right. I got all this Lil Wayne's T-shirt. You got on Albert Hainsworth FUBU sweater, and he over here business casual.
Yeah.
And we getting out of fire truck.
Yeah.
Nothing's abnormal.
Nope.
First of all, when was the last time you seen 3 black firemen?
We got 3 black firemen.
In the whole county?
No, they got Champaign. Urbana got some.
Oh, okay.
They probably ain't gonna be riding together, but
Let's see. Oh,
Because the truck will be
hold
low.
on. Let me.
Yeah, he thinking about it now.
Urbana got 5.
You know what, man? We better get back on this basketball. We get ready to get ourselves
for the
in trouble.
plug get pulled.
Right. Now, you talking about
Yeah,
the bad
Hobie.
shooting on Minnesota.
Yeah, Hobie.
Yeah. One. Bishop, Dwayne. 3.
All right,
They're
then.
3. All right, but they ain't riding together. But back to the game.
No, they don't.
Now, you talked about bad shooting on both sides. Last week, we talked a lot about that 33-point effort, Illinois against Penn State. Minnesota scored 2 points in 10 minutes. Big Ten basketball under fire. Coach Weber got a little upset last night at the press conference. Big Ten ball, is it equivalent to mud wrestling?
No.
In terms of the low scores and not putting the points on the board like you see when you watch a Big East or ACC game.
Yeah, what? No defense being played in those games? Well, that's all I can say.
So you say no defense being played in other conferences.
Of course you say that.
What do you
Yeah,
say?
whatever. Well-
What do you say?
But compared to Big Ten and the rest of them?
To all of when you watch Pac-10 games, ACC games, Conference USA games,
You can't count conference. Ain't number one team with Conference USA.
Memphis, UAB, and them 2.
Okay,
Right.
1.5.
Right. And when UAB play at home, then it's 2. But anyway, all those different conferences, you watch those games. Pac-10 the other night, Arizona State, Washington, you see 70s and 80s. You watch Pittsburgh and who was that the other night?
Providence.
And Marquette, UConn and Marquette.
Yeah.
Games in the 80s. You know, you watch LSU in Florida in the 80s.
Are we even going to talk about the SEC in basketball this year?
Because I mean, the thing about
I'm
it,
just
you look
pointing
at
out the fact that when
you
we
look at other conferences. You have players that, like the other night, Price scored 36 points.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when the last time somebody in Big Ten scored 36 points in a game?
I'll be honest with you, I couldn't tell you.
Woo! God, stumped you.
Right. You stumped the Schwab. You
Somebody that scored 36 points in the Big Ten?
Yeah.
No, Coble has. No, I'm just saying, man.
Who?
Kobler for
Coble.
Northwestern.
Northwestern, yeah.
They don't count.
Oh, did you ask the question? That don't count.
They
I'm
don't
gonna tell you
count.
the reason why. I'm gonna tell you the reason why.
All right, tell me the
I'm gonna tell you the
reason
reason why AJ Price was able to go out there and score 36 points. Night in and night out. There's no Chester Frazier on that team that's committed solely to defense. There's no Kramer from Purdue that's committed solely to defense. That's night in and night out. You have defensive stoppers on every Big Ten team.
Yeah.
I mean, even take last night's game. Minnesota's a very good defensive team, if you ask me. You know, they blocking shots, they getting in your grill, they pressing the ball, 94 feet. I mean, night in and night out. It's somebody on the other team that can put the pressure on you defensively, especially at the guard position.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I like that answer.
All right.
That was a good conservative Big Ten Kool-Aid drinking answer.
Thank you, man.
What's your answer, national media?
Right.
I mean, just star players. Star player, you bring your A game.
Right.
And in the Big Ten, I mean, you have a stopper. You have one stopper. But you tell me one player is going to shut down the whole team? Somebody got to get hot somewhere.
It's going to disrupt your offense, though.
One
If
player-
your go-to
one
guy,
player shouldn't be able
if
to
your
stop your
go-to guy
offense.
is being handled, it causes somebody else to have to step up, and it can disrupt your offense. If you used to run your offense through a certain
That's
player.
why your top caliber teams have more than one superstar.
Okay.
You know, you take Louisville Cardinals. You got Terrence Williams, you got Earl Clark,
And I think
Samuels.
they came up here to the same Big Ten team you talking about last night,
Minnesota, yeah, they beat
and
them
they
early.
manhandled them.
Let them play them now.
Okay, well, they played them then. It don't matter when
But
you
the thing
play.
about it, your top, your caliber.
You know what? The tournament coming up,
Me and
what
Joe,
it's gonna take is
Joe
one
talked
game.
the other night. You take North Carolina, that North Carolina beat Illinois. You talking about banging? They let them bang, and you know they cry. Oh, Sean May leaning people. You got Marvin Williams, high school player here, coming off the bench.
Okay.
I mean,
What's your point, though? I mean, it was a competitive game.
the Big Ten. There's not been a good team in the Big Ten in a while. I'll say
All right,
the same
excuse you using for last night's game. Illinois didn't make shots in the first.
The last
half.
good Big Ten team was when Michigan State won the national championship with Cleveland.
So the 04-05 Illinois team wasn't a good team.
No, that was luck. That was all it was. Because they shouldn't have been there.
Man. It's
They
called
shouldn't have
telling
been
like
there.
it is,
Shouldn't
man.
have been- You're right, I'm telling
Tell it like it is, man. Come on.
Tell it like it is.
You don't
If
luckily
you take-
win 37 games.
If you take the Arizona
You win
game,
37
they shouldn't
games
have-
by luck.
They shouldn't have been there. Arizona should have beat them just like West Virginia should have beat Louisville. Neither one of them teams should have been in the Final Four.
You know
but yet
what?
Michigan, like Joe said,
What
yet
about
Michigan
a
made
team
it.
coming back and taking a game?
Michigan was in the Final Four with a subpar team.
Michigan.
Michigan State.
That year, the Final Four.
Okay. So whose fault is that everybody else didn't step up?
The last
Michigan
good-
State,
in my opinion,
Michigan State won the games they needed to win to be in the Final Four.
My opinion,
it's not
the
their
last,
fault.
my opinion, the last good Big Ten team was 2001.
And to argue that, you say a subpar team, that's where coaching comes in at. Big Ten, like we said earlier in the year, right now, cream of the crop in coaching, period. And maybe that's why you're seeing these low-scoring games.
I guess so. You run against McNeese State in the tournament.
Okay.
Well, my opinion is twofold. I think, number one, the talent in the Big Ten is not at the standards that we've been accustomed to if you go back to the 80s and the early 90s and what we just talked about when Illinois went on their Final Four run. We don't have creators in the conference. And what I mean by that, if you look at
The one-on-one player.
the one-on-one players, because I was watching that UConn Marquette game the other night. They don't run sets. And the reason why they don't run sets, they have so many players who can create off the dribble that big guys can flow. They don't have to go down and stand in a block, wait for the ball, watch this globe try to weave in front of them. Because if you really think about the Big Ten, let's look at the teams in it and how the offenses run. Illinois runs that weave, the motion offense that they call it, but there's no penetration off of it. Then you get Purdue. You may get a little penetration from Lewis Jackson, but most of it comes from either if you're Robbie Hummel shooting your three or Jawan Johnson getting the ball in the block. Ohio State depends solely on Evan Turner for creation and scoring in terms of what you're going to get there. Penn State, Taylor Battle is really, if Taylor Battle's not
Jump
creating,
shooter.
then you got Cornley down low banging. Michigan, John Beeline's running a lot of threes, so Sims and Manny Harris and those guys jacking up a lot of threes. But in terms of a guy who can get the ball and just at any time take it to the bucket, and I think because the creation's not there. Now I know Coach Weber got upset last night at the press conference and said that, if you look at the Big Ten scoring during the non-conference schedule, they were putting up a lot more points. We also hear the argument that the teams in the Big Ten are familiar with each other. That's why it's tough to score at each other.
Well,
all
that's
the
with every conference.
Bingo. Every conference is familiar with each other. But I think if you don't have the talent at the cream of the crop level to be able to create, you're going to get these low-scoring games. And I think right now, until we start getting some more players that can create
Okay,
off the dribble.
let me ask you this. In a tournament game, in a one-and-done game, would you rather have a team that's dedicated to playing good defense or the team that has 3 one-on-one players when 2 of them can be off that night, but they're not used to locking down on defense? Who would you put your money on?
I'll answer that question with a caveat. I agree with the lockdown defense with a caveat. The caveat is if the officials allow the play, like last night's game.
That would not go on in the tournament.
And that's the problem when you talk about the Big Ten. Last night's game was probably one of the most physical games I've seen played in a long time. And actually, they did a good job officiating because they allowed the players to determine the way that game was going to.
And it didn't change from the first half.
No,
to the
it wasn't
second
like
half.
they blew a lot of whistles early and then let them get crazy late.
Yeah.
They let them play from the first jump ball until the last buzzer in that game last night. There was a lot of banging, and it was banging on both sides. It was banging, don't make it seem like it was all on Illinois banging or all on Minnesota. They banged on both sides. I think the play that signified that game last night, Dimitri McCamey and Johnson going down on the break for that loose ball.
Yeah, when Chester threw it.
And Chester threw it out. Great play by Chester to throw it down. McCamey couldn't get there before Johnson. They both come together.
Right.
The ball goes out of bounds, and the referee just going that way. No foul, no harm, no foul.
Right.
Now, any other conference, number one, that player would have come off the floor ready to fight. And I think because they're not accustomed to that type of banging. But going back to your question, I would, in a tournament setting, I'd always want the defensive team because you always got a chance.
Right.
But the problem is, you usually don't get to do that because if they get that physical early and you get somebody with a quick whistle, I mean, imagine, Chester played that game last night, didn't get any fouls. He played the same way in the NCAA tournament. He'd be sitting on the bench with 10 minutes left in the first half because he already got 2 fouls.
Yep.
Because they will call the things that we do in the Big Ten. When I say we, here in the Midwest, the way that ball is played, they don't do that on the East Coast,
Nationwide, yep.
and especially on the West Coast. They don't do that.
No.
So the key, going back to what you said earlier, the officiating has to be similar, but the other thing is where you get seated at.
Yeah.
When you talk about the tournament.
The
And
pods, yeah.
Right. Now, speaking of seating, Sunday, Michigan State comes into town. Now, the way things have played out, I think I said a week ago, we said there was 4 games left. You said they should win 2.
Split. Yep.
You said 3. I said they sweep. They'll win the conference. They win the game Sunday. I'll say this right now. They beat Michigan State Sunday, and here's why.
They'll beat Penn State then.
They're going to beat Michigan State
Lord have mercy.
because number one is senior night.
He done went to that store.
I'm
Somebody
not
gave
drinking.
him
You know me. What am I?
He optimistic.
I mean, from
Stats.
not only that, I mean, just look at the way the teams play. I mean, wasn't the last game they played competitive?
yeah.
Or did you just run them out of the gym by 30? I don't
No,
know.
they-
You tell me.
They were competitive.
Well, and I don't even look at the way that they played the last game. I'm looking at Penn State has 3 games. I mean, Michigan State's got 3 games left. They got to play Illinois. They got to play, I think, Indiana,
And
which is
then
a victory.
Purdue. And
then they
Purdue.
play Purdue. So, if I'm Tom Izzo, do you think I'm going to put all my eggs into Sunday's basket?
Yeah.
You better.
You got to. Just because they on you, they breathing down your neck.
What?
You want to get them up. It's just like going to the barbershop and you won't get that loose hair off of.
Right.
They want to, brush that loose hair.
Okay, let's look at the standings right now. Michigan State's 12-3, Illinois is 11-5. 2 games in the loss column. They'll give up Sunday's game. They won't lose to Indiana, and they play Purdue at home.
They shouldn't lose to Indiana, but
Right.
you never know.
They ain't gonna lose to Indiana. This ain't Iowa. Okay? This is not Iowa. We talking about Michigan State. This is Spartans, not Hawkeye. They're not gonna lose to Indiana.
Okay.
But the other thing, going back to what I said, the keys to why Illinois gonna win Sunday, it's senior day. The emotion for Chester Frazier, Trent Meacham, Calvin Brock, and C.J. Jackson, which I did not know he was a senior.
Technically, I don't think he is, but I guess he's not going to play.
His time is up.
I mean, look how much taxpayer money this dude wasted, man. He didn't wasted football money, basketball money, back to football, back to basketball.
He's doing research.
Man,
He's researching that.
He should stayed on the other field.
Yeah. But senior day, the other thing is it's going to be a late
So
start.
is C.J. Jackson going to start?
No.
he better not even start Brock. Play this game to win, man.
And they will. And the other thing is, it's a 3 o'clock start. I talked about this before, just like earlier with the football team. These early starts don't work for these guys around here. 3 o'clock start, I guarantee you they will shoot lights out. They'll beat Michigan State by at least 15 on Sunday.
Woo-wee. I hope Michigan State ain't in town, sitting in the hotel watching this.
Yeah, well, if they are,
They will find you.
you can find me. I live on Carver Drive.
In Champaign.
Enough said on that one. But Bud, now you question you said wait a minute. No, this is clear. This ain't Kool-Aid. Illinois, Michigan State Sunday. Your thoughts?
I think Michigan State going to come in and beat them. They're going to set a tone early and beat them. Hold off on the end. Nice, good game. 67-65.
67-65. Michigan State.
Yeah.
Wayne.
Illinois about 7. Give them. They're gonna have to score 60 points to win, so I'll give them like 64, 57.
Well, Joe talking is going to be 80 to 50.
It won't be 80 to 50, but it will be 60 to 40. It'll be 60 to 40 because Mike Davis.
That's 20 points.
Let me
now,
tell you
I'm
two
from Kentucky now. I know what I had.
Well,
you said 15.
Right, I said 60 and 40, so it might be 62-47. There's your 15.
Now we got to
Gazentas. 15
It's
Gazentas.
caveat.
Yeah. You're sitting there, you're thinking about it, ain't you?
No, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
I think they got you.
You think they got me?
I think they took you to
Invasion
car.
of the Body Snatchers?
I think they took you to the car and pumped that blood in.
I am looking at right now, like I said, when we talked about last week,
Yeah.
the key game was that Ohio State game. Mm-hmm. They win that road game and then come back home.
And to
Minnesota was a desperate team last night.
me,
they
and
tried
Illinois
to
took
get
their punch.
And they took their best punch and won that game. Now going into this game Sunday, like I said, Illinois only has 2 games left. They got to win this game. They're going to throw everything, the monkey wrench, the console TV, 12-inch, everything, they're going to throw it into this game. Does it mean that they're going to go to Penn State?
And winning this game, if they win this game, let alone the Big Ten, I mean, that's kind of a far reach because they 2 games back. But if they can beat a higher ranked Michigan State team, that can only make their seed better for the NCAA tournament. That's what I would be playing for.
I want them. I want a good high seed too.
Yep. Well, right now, I would say, based on everything that's happened now, they're a good solid 5 seed.
I was going to say a guaranteed 5.
And if they beat Michigan State and then get to the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament, they'll be a 4 seed. They'll be a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. Buddy looked at me like, what's happening? I'm just looking at, I told you, I got all my stats right here, man. You know,
I'm trying to figure out, how is a team that's won 23 games so horrible to him? I mean, who would have thought right now that Illinois would have the most wins in the Big Ten? I didn't. I know I wouldn't. No.
I don't think anybody did.
No, I mean it's.
Kool-Aid drinkers are not.
I mean, yeah, they play above their average. Everybody figure 15, 16, 23. They doing good. Everybody right. That sells more product.
So were they supposed to be undefeated? I mean, to gain your approval because that comment you made about
That don't mean nothing.
the comment you made about
Like
the
New
04,
England.
05 team.
New England went undefeated
that
to the
was
Super
crazy,
Bowl.
man.
Yeah,
To
what
say
you mean?
that you said that they wasn't a good team.
They was all right.
I don't understand your reckoning on that, man. For real.
Arizona should have beat them. That's like
Oh, my God.
Pittsburgh beat Louisville, but it didn't.
To go back to that, okay, Illinois should have beat them by 15 then
Well, it could
from the
have.
outset.
Well, I tell you what,
I'm
y'all
just
get out
telling
of that Wayback Machine, come back to 2000.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what does it take for this dude to say anybody's a good team.
2001
A team-
Michigan State.
Oh, my God.
I think what I'm hearing. Correct me if I'm wrong. What I'm hearing from you is that a good team, like we talked about the other day, the Carolina team, when you're loaded, where guys coming off the bench have pro potential.
Sure was.
Yeah, and if that's your definition, then I would have to agree with you. If that's the criteria of a good team for
Yeah,
you,
that's a good team. No, it's a great team.
and those teams usually, if you go through the history of the NCAA, those are the teams usually win the championship. Now that we've got more talent spread out, you're not going to get teams like that loaded anymore in terms of going 7, 8 deep. Now the Carolina team this year, arguably could do that. UConn could do that. Pittsburgh, but most of the teams now maybe 4 or 5 deep in terms of
I was
talent.
going to say UConn and UConn, I like. That's other than Illinois, that's my favorite college basketball team. But UConn and North Carolina, they are not as deep as people. I mean, as far as
No, they're not.
coming off the bench and being able to hurt you off that bench, I don't see it.
But it's called good coaching, knowing the substitute right.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, 2 games left in the regular season. We sit here to argue about UConn, North Carolina, Appalachian State, whatever else y'all want to talk about. But going into this season, 16 and 19 last year, had no idea where scoring was going to come from, leadership, etc. Now that the regular season only got 2 games left, who is the MVP of the Illinois basketball team?
You probably disagree, but I'm right now because the the start that he got off to in the beginning of the year, it kind of settled people down about what was going to happen down low. And now he's stepped up his game at the end of Mike Davis, man.
Mike Davis is your MVP?
Yeah.
Who's your MVP feeling?
I had to agree with Kool-Aid.
Seriously, I mean, he got
Yeah,
the team off
'cause,
to a
you know,
good start.
people-
He gave people confidence about, you know, it was just, the beginning of the year, it was just up in the air, like who's going to,
Yeah.
you know, it was a question mark.
You know, a lot of people say Chester Frazier. I mean, okay.
He's the glue. I call him the glue.
He's all right. I mean, he good. He good for what he do. But how many defensive players win the Heisman?
right. That's a good point, man. Charlie Woodson, that's it. And he scored a couple touchdowns.
But I'm gonna tell both of y'all, like I've said all year, I'm gonna stay consistent. Chester Frazier is the MVP.
Oh,
Here's
man. I thought you were say Rodney Alexander.
Who was that?
why. Rodney, I'm gonna call you back, Rodney. Yeah, they trying. Yeah, they're getting them off on you right now. I'll call you back. Chester Frazier is MVP. And here's why. Mike Davis, most outstanding player on the team. You know, just like you talk about the Heisman.
Tell it like it
But when we're
is.
talking about the MVP of the team, the reason why I say Chester Frazier, you talked about last night.
Yes.
Even though the team
Hold on,
got out
hold on.
rebounded. Oh.
You gotta
Caller. Tell us your name, tell us where you call from, tell it like it is. Caller, you there?
This is Richie Esplin from Urbana. You saying, who you saying MVP?
Mike Davis.
They both said Mike
Mike
Davis.
Davis is the MVP, hands down. Chester Frazier's a great player, a good player. He's going to be here to help, but Mike Davis is the MVP, hands down.
All right. Well, we appreciate you calling UPTV Channel 6. Tell like it is, you call us anytime.
What you think gonna happen Sunday? Oh, he hung up.
Yep.
Hey, I got my $2 million.
Hey, you got your signing bonus. Good job, Albert.
Right.
You see him over there, wait a minute. He look like
He
he's in,
cheats, man.
he look like he's in remedial typing class. He's in 3 buttons. Good job, handyman. Wait, but you got a caller that agrees with you guys, but I'm reason why I keep going to Chester. Let's go to last night's game.
I feel you, but
They
yeah,
got
go ahead.
out rebounded by 15 rebounds. Mike Davis, even though he had a double-double, 14 and 11. Mm-hmm. He gave Illinois 14 points, 11 rebounds. But the thing that changed to me, the tone of that game, if you remember the first half, Johnson was getting the ball down low at will. 14 points. If you remember in the second half how Chester was running that baseline and they kept trying to go over the top, and he was down there
stripping
I
them.
think he got 3 steals on the baseline like that. To me, that changed the tone because now they were hesitant in throwing the ball down low. Westbrook gets the ball out of the timeout with about 13 seconds left on the shot clock because they don't know how to get in the post. Shot clock runs out. He's a game changer from areas that most people can't change game. Now, you mentioned earlier about the Heisman Trophy. How many defensive players win the Heisman Trophy? Heisman Trophy, as I said earlier, most outstanding player.
Yeah.
That's what Mike Davis is. He's most outstanding. He is the most outstanding player on this team. But the most valuable, if you take Mike Davis off the court, let's think about this right now. If you take him off the court, could you replace his production? Probably not. But could you win without Mike Davis? Maybe.
No.
Could you win in some of those games without Chester Frazier? You couldn't win a game without Chester Frazier. You don't have a point guard on that team. Because McCamey is a true, I don't think.
a shooting guard,
He's a
man.
shooting guard who's forced into playing point. He likes, if you watch how he handles the ball, McCamey handles it when he's ready to score. But when he ain't got a scoring opportunity, that's where all them turnovers come from. He's just letting it go haphazardly and giving it up. You know Trent don't want to run the point. Trent's a shooter. That's what he's groomed for. Chester Frazier's the MVP of that team now. Bottom line.
Bottom line.
And so when I go to the
Okay, we
the banquet-
co-MVPs then.
co-MVP,
No, ain't
Yeah.
no cold. Yeah.
because the final thing,
'Cause I agree. Without Chester, man, like I said, he is the glue. He is their heart. A game like last night without Chester Frazier, when the other team is being physical like that, Chester is your most physical player on the team,
right?
other than probably Keller. But Chester is getting the most minutes, so he's the most physical player on the team. And without him, I mean, they don't have anybody to punch back with.
Because here's the other thing I was going to say. Next year, They have more talent on this team than they got this year.
But somebody's gonna have to have that heart.
There's the issue.
Yeah, somebody's
Who's
gonna.
going to be your Chester Frazier next year?
Somebody's gonna have to have that heart.
Right.
I mean, I can see Keller stepping up, being the emotional leader.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mike Davis, but the toughness. Where's the toughness going to come from?
Right, because you got freshman guards coming in.
And you need somebody not only just to be tough, like I keep saying, Keller. You need a tough ball handler, somebody who's going to have the ball all the time. That's going to be able to accept the fouls and accept the pressure that's being put on you by the other defense.
Right.
But you know, it's going to be hard to replace Chester. I agree with you on that.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to go to the bank with all three of us. And when they announce the MVP, the team at the
How you going to get us in?
we'll dress up like waiters. Nobody will know. We got a plan here. But conference tournament comes up, what, next week?
No, week after.
Week
next.
after.
Week after.
Got the smaller schools start next week.
Other than, and I hate to say other than Indiana, but let's be realistic about it. The Big Ten is the Big Ten plus a team this year. You know, Indiana will be back in a couple years, but right now, I'm not even counting them. But going into the conference tournament, with all of this, we haven't even got the regular season champ decided. Who's going to win the conference tournament?
It's hard to say.
Ooh, got to see matchups, man. Got to see seeds because that's what it all. Any
I mean,
tournament,
you can have it
any
like-
tournament. That's what it all
A
boils
couple
down
years
to.
ago, Iowa ran the table.
Right.
But
Two teams scare me in the tournament. Wisconsin. Wisconsin, if they played based on the potential that everybody thought they had at the beginning of the season,
They are coming along.
that's the think about it. They lost 6 games in a row.
then they turn around and won 5 in a row.
Wisconsin right now is 8-7 in the Big Ten. They were 0-6 at one time in the Big Ten. So you figure they've gone 8-1 their last 9. That team scares me. But the other team that scares, when you play in a tournament style setting, a team like Michigan, who can shoot the 3, and they have a guy like Manny Harris. We mentioned earlier about guys who can take over games. He can take over.
Yeah,
games.
I mean, I feel you on far as playing Michigan for that one game, but as far as winning the tournament, nah, because a team like that has to be hot for 3 days in a row.
Yeah, they OC.
You know what I mean? Shooting all those jumpers. But as far as, I would have to say, I mean, obviously Michigan State, just because it's Michigan State. You know, it's Izzo. They've been in championship game with the Big Ten probably, how long we had the tournament? Like 10 years now almost?
10 or 12 years. Yeah.
They probably been in championship game 7 of those tournaments.
I picked Wisconsin and Michigan is because I think those two teams are playing to get in the tournament. I think they know they got to win the tournament to get in, even though that might not be the case. I think 7 teams should come out of the Big Ten. But that's why teams like that, you know, because there's no clear division in the conference, and Michigan State, they know they're in. I think the energy that they can ready to spend this next week playing Sunday and then playing Indiana and Purdue next week, I think all that energy expended just to win the conference title is going to wear. I think they might.
Their senior class doesn't have a championship, either Big Ten tournament or
the regular season.
Right.
And that's why I said if they spend all their energy and win, because they lose Sunday, but they beat Indiana and Purdue,
they
they
Big
still
Ten champs. Yeah.
they'll still be the champs. So if they win that title there, I think they might throttle it down a little bit, and I don't think you'll see the best basketball in Michigan State. Yeah. Albert, you still think
about that
contract.
money, ain't he?
Yeah, boy. You got that $100 million, and you just can't think about
Quiet.
nothing else, can you?
Somebody enjoying the ride.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to shift gears, UPTV Channel 6. Tell it like it is. We ran the first half hour talking about Illinois Big Ten basketball. If you want to give Albert Hainsworth a call, he came in and he sat in with us for this portion of the show. This is what he wanted to talk about. NFL free agency. It started last night at midnight and at 12:01.
I think my mom's.
I'm a
I think my man over here. What you 5:30 in the morning? Signed that contract.
So 5 hours after free
What was
agency.
you doing up at 5 o'clock in the morning? Was you going to the fridge?
Nope.
Looked at your phone like, oh, they.
Nope.
You know, we was going to get that last piece of cheesecake.
I was coming in from the club.
Because you knew what time it was.
So how many bottles?
Cristal.
Case.
A case.
Yeah.
Woo.
Wow.
Well, I hope you win that big game. I know how we gonna party.
But my first question, 100.
To a
Not-
defensive tackle.
a defensive tackle, number one, but it's $41 million
Guaranteed.
guaranteed. He could come out there like Finch from the Wildcats.
Don't want to play, coach.
Don't want to play.
Nope. Don't
And
wanna
he's
play,
getting
coach.
$41 million.
Yep.
How in the world? Daniel Snyder.
I was going to say, leave it to Schneider.
Remember when he signed Daniel Stubblefield? Was it 98, 99? Mm-hmm. Stubblefield was one of the greatest tackles of all time for the 49ers.
Never heard from him.
After he got to Redskins, fizzled out.
Yep.
Now, are you getting Albert Haynesworth that stepped on Andre Gouchard's head for the Cowboys? Or are you getting the guy that gave you 13 and a half sacks the last 2 years? Albert, I'll let you answer your own question.
You're the good guy.
You're getting the good guy.
I'm over that road rage.
Okay, what is your motivation?
To win a championship.
You wouldn't have signed with the Redskins.
Right.
They have opportunity. They have
You wouldn't have signed with the
opportunity. They're an up-and-coming
Redskins.
team.
Come on, man.
Who's your quarterback? Billy Kilmer?
Oh, Jason Campbell.
Okay, who we throwing to?
Brandon Lloyd?
No,
He's not
on the
there anymore.
Bears.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't, for the life of me, when I heard that this morning, I almost knocked over my Cheerios. $100 million, like you said, to a defensive tackle.
You put sugar in the Cheerios.
Who hasn't played a full season?
Honey nuts. A full, right. He hasn't played a full season, and he's had issues, as we talked about earlier.
Well, I mean, you never know, man.
You went to anger
We can
management
do it.
class, though.
We can do it. We can do it.
You can do it. $100 million.
People talked about Mario Williams. I mean, they talk bad. They talk bad about, and look at him now.
But Mario Williams
He's
was
a beast. He's a beast.
Right, but he was coming out of college hungry.
Well, I'm hungry too. Where we going after this? Where we going after this?
We're going to take you down to prime time to get you.
No, we're going to Alexander's for the pot.
Oh, that's right. The
Partey.
Partey, $100 million, $41 million guaranteed. But like I said, I looked at that deal, and in all honesty, I'm like, that was ridiculous.
Hey, man, it happens.
Because
You need more than. I mean, they probably weren't even on defense last year. They had a decent defense.
right.
They probably were. They couldn't score. They had nobody to throw the ball to.
maybe we got some more money.
Clinton
gonna
Portis,
spend.
they ran him in the ground, you know, because they couldn't pass.
When Liddell
Spread
passed,
some of that money out and get you an offense, man.
but then he went, before he signed Albert Haynesworth, he gave
D'Angelo
D'Angelo
Hall.
$54 million, and he was cut.
I seen
By
Eddie
right-
Royal, a rookie,
Abuse him.
put up like 160 on him.
He had like 15 catches. And now you gave him $54 million.
You was cut from the Raiders.
But you know what? You know, you sit around and talk about the man. I wish I had the opportunity where I can just give money like that away.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, you know, you think about it. You know, everybody talk about, you know, the owner make dumb decisions. Now, this man gave out $154 million.
To two guys.
Today.
Two.
Do you think he went broke playing those players?
He
Oh,
could.
no. That was monopoly money to him.
He could.
All right, then.
He got orange $500 bills. That's how much money Daniel Snyder got. And I'm not, like you said, on the business side, you know, Daniel Snyder know what he's doing, because for him to have the kind of money.
No. Well, he
You know.
on the business, not on the sports side.
On the sports, but right.
Yeah, on the business side, yeah, he
What he's doing-
generate revenue, like, you know.
He's using the Redskin. That's his personal fantasy football team. That's what it is.
Yeah.
He playing fantasy football. I think I'm gonna go out and get me a tackle. Give me a $100 million tackle here. Get me a cornerback. Here, $54 million here. Blah blah blah. Oh, I ain't got a quarterback.
When he possibly could have gave 54 to Ray and 54 to Bart Scott and had a better defense right there.
Right. Could have just stolen two
All right,
lines.
now, since Bart Scott gone, Ray gonna stay in Baltimore. He gone.
Yeah, he gone.
But okay, here go the thing. Bart Scott feeling itself because I don't know. I mean, who he thought he was or whatever, but dude, he was only Bart Scott because of 52.
But Bart, I agree with you 1,000% on that.
He was only Bart Scott because
Wow, man.
But what happens to most of
gotta
these
be-
guys? What happened to most of these guys?
They
fizzle
fade.
out.
They feel
fade.
right.
they fizzle out.
But here's the thing.
Oh, he got his
With
chips.
the economics,
He
and
got his
that's
paper.
why
He got his
I'm-
paper.
I'm with Bart Scott. I'm going to make that move
Right.
immediately.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
I think he'll do good. John Abrams, man, him and John Abrams. It's a dangerous.
I'm not saying that they're not dangerous, but sometimes the system makes
Come on,
guys
man.
good.
You a
You know,
basketball- you a
anytime
basketball
you
coach.
step on the field with the Baltimore
You a
Ravens,
basketball coach.
anytime you step on the field with the Baltimore Ravens, The offense is geared to stop 52.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
It's been that way for the last 10
But
years.
that opens up.
For Darius Thomas to think he's a superstar, for Bart Scott to think he's a superstar.
Yeah.
We're going to see. We're going to see.
No, I mean, it's time for a change.
Yeah.
You just can't keep, riding the same horse.
Right.
Now, I know we sit here and we talk back and forth about, this team did this and this team did that. Now, you're a Bear fan, I'm a Viking fan, and you 32
Don't
players.
sage me, bro. Don't sage me.
Who would you want? Because I'll be talking about my team in a second. But who would you, out of your 32 teams, who would you want your team to get?
Who, the Giants? The Giants don't need that.
They got who they need. Brandon Jacobs.
I mean, but if you look at, they didn't make it.
Oh, you talking about who?
Who would
Rest of the
you-
league?
Out of all of, no, I'm talking about your team. If you look at all the free agents available, out of all those free agents, quarterback, linebacker, receivers,
I
etc.,
think the Giants need a receiver.
who would you want your team to take?
They need a receiver.
TJ.
Need a receiver?
I'd go after Who's Mizada.
Who's your mama? You would take him.
Yep.
I mean, me personally, as a Bear fan, I would say that. But
He go there and be
But-
terrible with running them. He ain't used to running no 2-yard routes.
no, not that. I mean, okay, it's defeating the purpose when you don't have a quarterback to throw it to him.
So now, and that's why I wanted to ask you that question as a Bear fan. Because the quarterback issue has been there since Jack Concannon.
Eric Kramer was all right.
Okay.
Eric Kramer.
Jack Concannon.
He just reaching now. He
Bobby
just,
Douglas.
He just calling out names.
Man, this coming from the same dude who didn't even know Deion Sanders played for the Redskins. I'm just calling out names.
Jack Concannon was a quarterback for the Bears.
Oh, I don't know.
But-
it could have been.
Right.
Out of the
He don't know either. He just agreed with you because he said the
because
Bears.
he was just a twinkle.
Okay.
But out of all the guys this year, Kerry Collins, he just re-signed.
No.
But Kurt Warner,
No.
Jeff Garcia, let's see, who else was available?
Leftwich.
Byron
Byron
Leftwich.
Leftwich.
Was there
Sexy Rexy.
any quarterback out there that, or anybody, forget quarterback, any particular player, Ray Lewis.
No,
Give me Ray Lewis,
we need-
put Urlacher on the outside. I mean, that's what I'm saying about Daniel Snyder playing fantasy. This is the time you can play fantasy with your team.
Ray Lewis can work. I mean, honestly, the player that I really, really wanted was taken off the map today, Brian Dawkins.
Okay.
We need safety help.
Right.
And we do need another linebacker because Urlacher then lost 4 steps.
Yeah.
So
Wow, he's coming around.
come on, man. I ain't.
Rehab.
Hey, they finally got rid of Mike Brown.
And you know what, man?
The best coach in the league,
I guarantee you this, and this is gonna drive you.
he gonna
nuts.
go somewhere
He
and
gonna go
not get
somewhere.
hurt.
16 games. He could be the comeback player of the year in the NFL, and his team,
6 interceptions.
his team will go to the
He
playoffs.
don't go.
Oh Lord! Mike Brown put some Viking helmet on and do that.
No, he don't need to go on no turf, man. He need to stay
Right, he
strictly
needs to stay in the
grass.
grass. He needs to stay in the grass, and he needs to play a team who truly plays the cover 2, where he doesn't have to walk up in the box, because that's where he gets hurt every
But
time.
everybody, they not talking about it. The Patriots just signed Fred Taylor.
Yeah.
As
Yeah, somebody who can come in, give you 3 series a game,
right?
fresh. He know how to get the short
And
yardage.
he can catch outside.
Hey.
He can run.
Hey, put him in that system.
He could be comeback player of the year too.
Yeah. But I think Mike Brown will be comeback player of the year. I think just,
Oh, dude, that would drive Chicago crazy.
and I think it's just like the jinx our Cubs have.
Yeah.
Is that a Bear player like that goes somewhere else and just, things work out.
Oh, like Bernard Berrian, yeah.
Now, for me, speaking of Bernard Barron, Minnesota Vikings, the player I would have loved to see Minnesota go pick up, I'd have loved for them to go get Jeff Garcia. And the reason why I say that, Jeff Garcia, 76, 77 years old?
Yeah.
It's not like he's going to be in Minnesota for a long
But he still
period of
can
time.
play, man.
And right now, the way the NFL is set up, it's not about winning, 2, 3, 4 year window. You got to win right now.
Right.
If you got the opportunity, if you got all the pieces in place, take your shot right now. Don't wait. Well, we're gonna let this quarterback develop and
What's wrong with Mr. Jackson?
Mr. Jackson,
You saw what was wrong with him.
you saw what in the
He ain't
Philadelphia.
that bad.
Come on,
Here's
man.
the thing. wait a minute, I'm agree with Bundy. He's not that bad. But the difference in the NFL between not that bad
and good.
and good,
No,
right
it ain't.
there.
No, it ain't. It's that much.
No, it's right. I'm gonna tell you what.
Not that bad
in the
as
playoffs,
far.
in the playoffs, it's this. In the regular season, it's that.
Not that bad as for Cleveland, who, you know, everybody's young and they trying to grow. For what Minnesota has, one of the top defenses in the league, one of the top running backs in the league, which we all know, look at LaDainian Tomlinson, running backs only last 3-4 years.
Right.
Your window open. So you can't sit around and wait for Tavares Jackson to learn how to read defenses.
Because the time he learns how to read the defense, AP has lost a step.
Maybe 3 because he
Kevin-
runs so hard.
And Kevin Williams may not be there on the defensive line because free
Yeah.
agency might get him.
Right.
Jared Allen might get hurt.
You got to go out right now and get you a Kurt Warner or a Jeff Garcia and win
And
the
we
thing
went
next year.
out and we went to the spice rack and we got us a bottle of sage.
I mean, he
Sage
ain't bad, man. I mean, like, he better than Jackson.
But here's the problem. You just
Same
said,
thing.
That's
Same
it.
thing. He ain't bad.
He ain't bad. Jackson ain't bad.
But let's see him
Who's
play.
bad? I'm bad.
Let's see him play on a good team. He was on Houston, man. I mean,
Okay, but once again,
if he was that good, he'd have made him better.
right. He played for Houston and he couldn't start.
Oh,
He got
my
hurt.
goodness. No,
No.
he was the backup, man.
Matt Schaub got hurt.
Matt Schaub.
And then he came in.
Yeah, then he got
Yeah,
hurt.
he did a helicopter against the
Right.
Colts.
Just gave that game.
Gave the game away. Oh, that's the film that Minnesota should have been looking at
Right.
instead of some other film.
Well, that's why we sit there and talk about it, and them guys sit there in big suits on and big
And don't win.
plasma
don't win.
TV, and they watch, they break stuff down.
I know.
They may see something that we don't, that you can't
Yeah, I
see.
know.
Well, I know it had to be something special if they can see it and you can't see it, because you got those special glasses, you can see it all.
Right, and I seen it.
And it wasn't right.
I already saw January of 010, and it ain't right. Sage ain't right. Look, hold on a second. We didn't make it. Y'all know,
You show
we ain't make it again. We short
Got
again.
into the NFC Championship?
We didn't make it.
Wow. So
We
you
are-
calling that right now?
Sage Rosenfeld, let's be serious about this. You talk about Kool-Aid with Illinois? You know I drink purple and gold Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I seen your cup, man.
Right, and it's big. But the bottom line is
it empty.
very empty. And you go out and get Sage Rosenfeld. And here's the thing. Minnesota tried to make a deal last year for Sage Rosenfeld. They offered Houston a second-round pick. Houston said no. This year, guess what they got him for?
Fourth
A
round.
fourth-round pick. So that tells you Houston said, man, get this dude off our roster.
They turned down a second-round pick. Now they end up getting
Right. So now they
He's
just try
really declined in they eyes.
and he's 31 years old.
Brad Childress see something,
Well, Brad Childress, his glass ain't as thick as mine.
How you know? He might got some special glasses in his drawer.
Well, he might have to do the Fred Sanford and get that drawer to pull out. But I'm baffled by all the money and the fact that the owner knows.
He's baffled.
They got it right there in front of them. It's right there.
Yeah.
For the taking. You're in the weakest division.
Sure is.
In the NFC.
Look, you take 9 wins and win that conference.
Right. And you won 10 and won it. And your bottom line is you need a quarterback. So I don't know, man.
I mean,
Get a little.
those,
I already got my football pressure going.
old Chi-Town Bears. I mean, they just need a quarterback. They need a quarterback and another guy up in the booth. I ain't gonna call him another guy up in the booth.
My Uncle
different
Ron
plays.
Turner, yeah, they need to get rid of Uncle Ron.
But speaking of that, it's coming to trees blooming and stuff. It's about time them old cubbies come on out there, come on out the cave, ain't
Yes,
it?
baseball.
They undefeated so far, ain't they?
Hey, love it. Let me sit up in my chair. You talk about the Cubs. Got me hope.
Dude, we're not worried about March. We're not worried about April.
It's July, huh?
We ain't even worried about July.
It's October.
We worried about October. Can we get a hit in October? Can we just get 10 hits in October?
Well, they did predict y'all to play against the Yankees.
Yeah,
I mean,
This is like Swan
that
used to say the
sound good,
49ers
but-
in Buffalo every year for a long
that
time.
sounds good, but
I'm gonna tell you what. And this
Man.
is my other thing, because I know we got about 5 minutes left in the show.
This
But
is the other thing.
talking about the Cubs,
Kids.
leadoff hitter. Soriano can go out there in May after. People forget.
It warms up.
I've been telling you that for years.
The
Simmons told him.
The Cubs.
Hey, Dusty Baker said it, and they said he was being racist.
Right.
What you talking about? The Cubs. Cubs like a
fact.
Cubs like a 72 deuce in the quarter.
Right. It just takes
He run good in July.
Got that good cold in it.
Lifters ain't firing off right away when he first. When they do fire real good, and that oil get in that crankcase, and it fire up black smoke when you first hit it. Boom. But when it's ready to roll, come July, we're going down south to the family reunion.
About 12 deep.
Man, and we got
Chicken in the back.
floor.
Chicken in the back window.
Yep, beer cans up there.
So I want to know y'all, you know, for the baseball season start, I want
You wanna hear
how
the
you
number?
think the Cubs are going to finish?
First place. In the division, I mean, playoffs,
They going to the pennant? Who they going to play
I
against?
mean, dude, that's so far off right now,
I mean,
man.
Now, I hit you last year. I said 100 wins, 62 losses, and they ended up.
Yeah, 98.
98. You was a little nervous too.
I was like, man, this dude right.
Well, what I tell you about these glasses?
It wasn't them glasses then.
Well, it was something in that bottle. It wasn't Kool-Aid.
Dude.
Cubs will win it again. The issue, leadoff hitter, because in April it's cold
Yes.
and they can't produce runs. October
So
it's cold.
even if Soriano do get on base, he ain't ready to run.
That's the point.
Put Terrio at leadoff, Mike Fontenot or somebody, and let him run, man.
Last year they kept talking about going to get Brian Roberts from the Orioles, and they didn't do it.
Right.
You got the game now. You got the game. I ain't talking about the rapper. You got Milton Bradley.
Right.
I'm just waiting for Milton and Milton and Lou.
Who you talking about?
It
Dusty?
ain't gonna be Lou.
Lou,
It ain't gonna be Lou.
Who's it gonna be?
It's gonna be one of them idiots after the game
Gonna say something
with
to
one
him?
of these. So, Milton, what about that play in the eighth? Man, dude, going
What about it? What about it? You saw it.
right.
You saw the play, and then that's when the camera go up in the air, and then you see a couple feet. And Milton gonna lose.
It's gonna be Rick Riley at one of them.
I think he learned his lesson.
Now here's the thing: we got 2 minutes left in the show. We talking about Major League Baseball. We talked about Albert Hayworth. Is Manny Ramirez crazy?
Manny think his number 2 don't
It
stink.
ain't all Manny, man. It ain't all Manny.
It's about
it ain't all
it's
Manny.
The reason why I
his
say it's
agent.
crazy, he's been given 4 offers, and all 4 of them are basically the same offers.
My sources tell me.
All right, Tyrone. Hey, what they
That
tell
offer
you?
they made yesterday was, kind of tricky. Like, it was what, 45 mil for 2 years?
They offered him 45,
25 for
20
this
for
season.
1, and then drop it down to 16.
But what they didn't say, they was only going to pay him 10. And the rest of it was backloaded. I'm
Right.
like,
But the man is getting old.
but, okay, he ain't that old. Just like, you saying Hansworth went after his ends. Manny want his. He know the Dodgers need him. I think Manny is really playing it right.
Now, see, and here's where
He know.
And the reason why I'm bringing this up, we just talked about warm weather. And Manny went from East Coast, playing in Boston. Now he in La La Land.
He don't
Perfect
need
condition.
He don't need no training camp.
No, I know
He playing it right.
Right, but he didn't need training camp. I'm just saying that here it is. You could be, his money don't have to be predicated on the contract. Manny Ramirez's personality makes him an additional $50 million,
Right.
just for being Manny Ramirez in
He in Hollywood now,
Hollywood.
man.
That's why I'm saying, is he crazy? If I'm Manny Ramirez and I'm in Boston, maybe I negotiate. But
Yeah, but all that outside money or whatever, that ain't to be had yet. I mean, you gotta,
well,
if you're an athlete, man, they telling you, we'll give you $10 million.
You better take what
and they
you
gonna
get,
put the
'cause
rest of it on the back burner.
Recession coming around because the NBA and going they.
I mean, he ain't broke. He ain't broke. He ain't got to just dive out
you
there and
know he
take the
ain't
first
broke?
offer.
Well, I tell you
How
what,
you
if we
know?
could continue this, we would, but we only got about 10 seconds left in the show. So UPTV Channel 6, tell it like it is. Appreciate you watching. Albert Haynesworth, Stovall, Big Wayne.
Alexander's
We'll be
9:30.
out, Alexander's 9:30.
The
We
boy
out of
finna be
here.
packed too.
It'll be lines up. Where they at? Where they at?